My precious child, in the quiet moments when you wonder if your prayers have disappeared into silence, when you question if your petitions have been lost in the vastness of heaven, when you doubt if your cries have reached my ears, I want you to know this with absolute certainty. I haven't forgotten a single prayer you've ever prayed. I see how your heart grows heavy with each passing day of waiting. I hear the unspoken questions that trouble your spirit. Has God forgotten me? Are my prayers too small? Does He even hear? Let me answer those questions with the full weight of my love. I remember every whispered prayer, every tearful plea, every desperate cry. Not one has been lost, not one has been ignored, not one has been forgotten. Each prayer you've prayed is preserved in golden bowls before my throne. Like precious incense, they rise continually before me. The prayer you whispered last night, the one you cried out last year, the quiet petition from your childhood, I remember them all. They don't expire. They don't fade. They don't lose their power with time. Think of Hannah, who prayed year after year for a child. I didn't forget her prayer. I was preparing her for Samuel. Think of Abraham, who waited decades for his promised son. I didn't forget his prayer. I was preparing him for Isaac. Think of Zacharias and Elizabeth, who prayed their whole lives for a child. I didn't forget their prayer. I was preparing them for John the Baptist. I understand how silence can feel like rejection, how waiting can feel like denial, how delay can feel like disapproval. But my beloved, my silence is not absence. My timing is not rejection. My waiting is not forgetting. Every prayer you've prayed is actively working in the spiritual realm, actively moving mountains, actively preparing the way for my perfect answer. The enemy wants you to believe that unanswered prayers are forgotten prayers. He wants to convince you that delay means denial. He wants to persuade you that waiting means rejection. But he is a liar, and your prayers are more powerful than you know. They're not just words spoken into air. They're seeds planted in eternal soil. I see how you've prayed the same prayer countless times, how you've wept over the same request, night after night, how you've carried the same burden year after year. Some might tell you to move on or let it go, but I honor your persistent faith. Your repeated prayers don't annoy me. They move me. They don't tire me. They touch me. They don't burden me. They bless me. Your prayers are not stored in some cosmic waiting room, gathering dust until I have time to address them. They're actively before me, constantly in my attention, continually working in ways you cannot see. Like a master weaver working with threads of gold, I am weaving your prayers into the tapestry of my perfect plan. When others have received their answers while you're still waiting, when testimonies of instant breakthrough make your long wait harder to bear, when it seems like everyone else's prayers are being answered except yours. Remember this: your timing is as personal as your fingerprint. Your answer is as unique as your DNA. Your story is as individual as your soul. Don't measure the power of your prayers by the speed of my response. Don't gauge my attention by the timing of my answer. Don't evaluate my love by the length of your wait. For I am not just hearing your prayers, I am holding them. Not just considering them, I am crafting their answers. Not just receiving them, I am responding in ways you cannot yet see. Your prayers have not bounced off heaven's ceiling. They haven't been lost in celestial mail. They haven't been filed away in some divine archive. They are before me now, as fresh as the moment you first prayed them, as powerful as the day you first spoke them, as important as when they first broke from your heart. As you reflect on this truth, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to join our community of faith and inspiration. I am not a God who forgets, who overlooks, who dismisses. I am the God who remembers, who treasures, who acts. Every prayer you've prayed is safe with me, secure in my memory, sealed in my promise to answer. In these moments when your prayers seem to echo unanswered in the silence, I want you to understand something profound. Delay is not denial. Silence is not rejection. Waiting is not forgetting. Every prayer you've prayed is alive and active before me, working in ways your eyes cannot see and your mind cannot comprehend. I see how you check for signs that I'm working, how you search for evidence that I'm moving, how you long for proof that I've heard. My beloved, while you're watching for answers, I'm watching over you. While you're waiting for signs, I'm working behind the scenes. While you're looking for movement, I'm orchestrating miracles. Remember how long Simeon prayed to see the Messiah. I didn't forget his prayer. I was preparing the perfect moment. Remember how long the Israelites cried out in Egypt? I didn't forget their prayers. I was preparing a deliverer. Remember how long my people waited for the promised Savior? I didn't forget their prayers. I was preparing the fullness of time. Your prayers don't have an expiration date. They don't lose their potency with time. They don't diminish in power with age. Like fine wine that gets better with time, your prayers are maturing in my presence. Each day of waiting isn't wasted. It's weighted with purpose, pregnant with possibility, filled with preparation. I know there are moments when you're tempted to stop praying, to give up asking, to cease believing. These thoughts don't shock me or disappoint me. They don't diminish my love or decrease my attention to your prayers. They simply draw my comfort closer to your doubt, my strength nearer to your weakness, my faithfulness closer to your fear. The enemy wants you to believe that repeated prayers are pointless, that persistent asking is useless, that continued believing is foolish. But he is a liar, and your persistence in prayer is powerful. Every time you choose to pray again, to believe again, to hope again, you're demonstrating a faith that moves my heart and moves mountains. You've wondered if your prayers are too small for my attention, too simple for my consideration, too personal for my concern. Let me assure you, no prayer is too small for my attention, no request too simple for my consideration, no concern too personal for my care. I am interested in everything that interests you, concerned about everything that concerns you, attentive to everything that affects you. When others suggest you should just move on or pray about something else, remember, I honor persistent prayer. Just as a widow's persistence moved an unjust judge, just as a friend's midnight knocking received answer, just as a Canaanite woman's determination touched Jesus' heart, your persistent prayers move my heart. Your prayers are not just words floating in space. They're seeds planted in eternal soil. Some seeds sprout quickly, others take seasons to grow, but all are nurtured by my faithfulness, watered by my love, protected by my power. Not one is forgotten. Not one is neglected. Not one is overlooked. This season of waiting isn't just about getting an answer. It's about growing your faith, deepening your trust, strengthening your relationship with me. Every prayer you pray is doing double work. It's both requesting your desire and developing your character. You may feel like your prayers are hitting a brass ceiling, but I assure you, they're landing in my heart. You may think your words are lost in the silence, but I tell you, they're preserved in my presence. You may believe your requests are forgotten in time, but I promise you, they're active in eternity. Don't measure the effectiveness of your prayers by what you can see. Don't gauge the power of your petitions by what you can perceive. Don't evaluate the impact of your intercession by what you can understand. For I am working in ways you cannot see, moving in ways you cannot perceive, answering in ways you cannot understand. My precious child, as you continue to wait and wonder, I want to reveal something vital about your prayers. They are not just requests waiting in line. They're active forces shaping reality, like seeds beneath the soil that appear dormant, but are actually bursting with life. Your prayers are actively working even when you can't see their effects. I see how each "not yet" weighs on your heart, how each day of waiting tests your faith, how each moment of silence challenges your trust. But what if this waiting isn't just about delay? What if it's about development? What if your prayers aren't just being heard, but are being woven into something more beautiful than you could imagine? Think of Moses on the mountain, Daniel in the lion's den, Paul in prison. Each one prayed prayers that seemed delayed, but were actually being developed into testimonies that would echo through generations. Your prayers aren't just about your present circumstance. They're about your eternal purpose. The prayers you've prayed are like stars in the night sky. Even when clouds obscure them from your view, they continue to shine. Even when you can't see their light, they're still there, still burning, still lighting up heaven's realm. Not one has dimmed, not one has died, not one has been dismissed. I understand the temptation to wonder if simpler prayers would be answered faster, if smaller requests would receive quicker responses, if lesser petitions would find speedier fulfillment. But beloved, I don't grade prayers by size or simplicity. I treasure them all. From the whispered "help me" to the detailed petitions of your heart. The enemy wants you to believe that my silence means I'm not listening, that my timing means I'm not caring, that my waiting means I'm not working. But he is a liar, and the truth is far more glorious. My silence is often my most active moment. My timing is always perfect, and my waiting is never wasteful. You've counted the days, marked the months, measured the years since you first prayed certain prayers. I've counted too, not in frustration, but in faithfulness, not in forgetfulness, but in fullness, not in delay, but in development. Every day of waiting is a day of working. Every moment of silence is a moment of shaping. Every season of seeming inactivity is a season of divine activity. When others receive instant answers, while you continue to wait, when quick testimonies make your long journey harder to bear, when immediate breakthroughs make your persistent prayers feel powerless, remember this: your timing is as unique as your purpose. Your answer is as specific as your calling. Your journey is as individual as your destiny. Your prayers don't just rise to heaven, they resound through eternity. They don't just reach my ears, they touch my heart. They don't just present requests, they release power. Every prayer is a declaration of trust, every petition an act of faith, every request a reaching for relationship with me. This waiting period isn't just about pending answers, it's about pending glory. It's not just about delayed responses, it's about developed character. It's not just about postponed fulfillment, it's about perfected faith. Every prayer is working double time, requesting your desire and refining your spirit. You may feel like your prayers are lost in time, but they exist in my eternal now. You may think your requests are fading with age, but they're actually gaining power in my presence. You may believe your petitions are weakening with weight, but they're actually strengthening with purpose. Don't limit your prayers to what you can see being answered. Don't restrict your petitions to what you can understand being fulfilled. Don't confine your requests to what you can perceive being worked out. For I am doing more than you can ask or imagine, working more than you can see or understand, preparing more than you can dream or expect. As we draw this message to its completion, I want to embed this truth deep within your spirit. Not only have I not forgotten your prayers, but I am actively, purposefully, and lovingly working them into the masterpiece of your life story. Every prayer you've prayed is a thread in this tapestry. Every petition a color in this painting. Every request a note in this symphony. I see the quiet moments when doubt whispers that your prayers have been forgotten, when discouragement suggests that your petitions have been dismissed, when weariness tempts you to stop believing. But my beloved, these are often the very moments when I'm working most powerfully, moving most purposefully, answering most precisely. Your prayers are not just preserved in my memory, they're precious in my sight. Like a father who keeps every drawing his child creates, I treasure every prayer you've prayed. From the eloquent petitions of your strongest faith to the desperate cries of your weakest moments, each one matters to me. Each one moves me. Each one motivates my action. Think of Cornelius, whose prayers and alms came up as a memorial before me. Think of David, whose prayers became psalms that would strengthen millions. Think of Paul, whose prison prayers became letters that would guide generations. Your prayers, too, have purpose beyond their immediate request. They're not just asking for something, they're building something eternal. The enemy wants you to measure the value of your prayers by the speed of their answers, to gauge their importance by the timing of their fulfillment, to evaluate their power by the pace of their manifestation. But he's a liar, and your prayers are far more powerful than you realize. They're not just requests, they're spiritual forces. They're not just words, they're weapons. They're not just petitions, they're declarations of faith. When your prayers seem to echo in silence, remember that echo is reaching through eternity. When your petitions appear to disappear into void, remember they're actually entering into victory. When your requests feel like they're falling on deaf ears, remember they're falling into faithful hands. This season of waiting isn't punishment, it's preparation. This time of silence isn't absence, it's alignment. This period of seeming inactivity isn't neglect, it's nurture. Every prayer you pray is being woven into a story bigger than you can see, worked into a purpose greater than you can imagine, incorporated into a plan more perfect than you can conceive. Your prayers don't just rise to heaven, they resound through eternity. They don't just reach my ears, they reshape reality. They don't just express your heart, they extend my kingdom. Every prayer is remembered, every petition is regarded, every request is respected. So don't stop praying, don't cease believing, don't quit expecting. For your prayers are more powerful than you know, more effective than you realize, more important than you imagine. They're not just words spoken in time, they're seeds planted in eternity. And when the answers come, and they will come, you'll understand why every moment of waiting was necessary, why every season of silence was significant, why every period of seeming inactivity was actually intense activity in the spiritual realm. Your prayers are safe with me. They're secure in my promise. They're sealed in my faithfulness. Not one will be wasted. Not one will be forgotten. Not one will fail to accomplish its purpose. Trust this truth, beloved. Rest in this reality. Hope in this certainty. For I am not just the God who hears prayer. I am the God who remembers prayer, who treasures prayer, who answers prayer. And I haven't forgotten a single one of yours. Keep praying. Keep believing. Keep trusting. For your prayers are not just heard, they're held. They're not just received, they're remembered. They're not just acknowledged, they're answered in my perfect timing and perfect way. With eternal love and unfailing faithfulness, your Father God. Amen.